I had no idea how my night would unfold when we went to the club for Shania's birthday. First, everything seemed normal. The DJ called her up on stage, and I assumed it would be a harmless celebration. But then things shifted in a way I never anticipated. She started dancing and I could tell she was skilled, but the moves were far too intimate, far too suggestive for a public setting. She turned and pressed herself against DJ Devon as the crowd cheered them on. I watched in disbelief as their interactions grew more physical, and something inside me snapped. The scene felt humiliating, yet I stayed silent, trying to contain the storm of emotions building inside. Then she spotted me standing, about to leave. Her eyes flickered with recognition, but instead of stopping, she grabbed the mic and said, "Don't be jealous, babe. It's just a dance." The crowd burst into laughter, and I felt every shred of dignity drain away. I said nothing, but I couldn't remain there any longer. I walked out, my chest heavy, the sound of the crowd's laughter chasing me. Outside, I tried to steady my breathing. My phone buzzed relentlessly with messages, but I silenced it, unwilling to confront what had just happened. I went home, poured a drink, and stared at my phone. Shania's messages were a mix of anger and confusion, asking why I left and why I was being so insecure. There was no apology, no acknowledgement of her actions. I typed a single message, "We're done," and powered off my phone. The next morning, I awoke to a flood of calls, texts, and voicemails. Some friends reached out with concern. Others seemed to take her side, but I ignored them all. Instead, I gathered her belongings, clothes, gifts, everything that reminded me of her, and boxed it all up. That evening, my apartment felt emptier, yet I felt lighter. The following week, I threw myself into work. I asked my boss for extra projects, stayed late at the office, and kept busy with anything to occupy my mind. Shania's messages grew more desperate, apologies laced with blame, but I didn't respond. Then, a few days later, my friend Marcus sent me something that made my stomach turn. It was a video from the club showing Shania and Devon leaving together after I had walked out. The timestamp read 2:37 a.m., confirming what I already suspected. This wasn't about a dance. It was betrayal, disrespect, and something I had been blind to all along. I blocked her everywhere and changed the locks on my apartment. 2 weeks later, I was beginning to move forward, focusing on myself and reconnecting with friends who had checked in. During dinner with Marcus, he cautiously brought up Shania. "She's been asking about you," he said, watching me closely. "She's trying to explain." I shook my head. "I don't need an explanation. The video said it all." "There's nothing to explain," I added. Marcus hesitated, then showed me a message from Kayla, one of Shania's closest friends who had been at the club that night. The message read, "I can't keep hiding this. Shania has been seeing Devon since the New Year's Eve party. She made me promise not to tell anyone." My stomach sank. This wasn't just about that night. Shania had been hiding this affair all along. At that moment, I knew I had made the right choice. Leaving wasn't a rash decision. It was the only option left. After how she treated me at the club, I couldn't stay silent. She had even admitted to planning the stage performance with Devon beforehand. Kayla had sent me screenshots Shania had shared over months, showing her conversations with Devon. Shania bragged about the secret relationship, complained about being bored with me, and described Devon as thrilling. She also detailed meetings that matched nights she claimed to be working late or out with friends. Kayla admitted she had been too scared to tell me directly. Marcus explained she felt guilty for keeping the secret, even tried to talk Shania out of it multiple times. I thanked Marcus, paid for our dinner, and drove home in silence. The next day, coming home from work, Shania was standing outside my door. Her eyes were puffy, mascara streaked down her cheeks. She looked nothing like the confident woman on stage. "Jamal, please," she began, voice trembling. "I've been trying to reach you for 2 weeks. We need to talk." I stood there, keys in hand, exhausted. There was nothing to discuss. She had done what I saw. It wasn't what it seemed. I almost laughed. "Which part?" the grinding on another man in front of everyone, or leaving with him after I had walked out. Her face fell. "You know about that," said. "I know everything, Shania. About that night, the 6 months before. Everything." She started crying. Not the fake tears I had grown used to, but raw, genuine emotion. "I made a mistake. Terrible mistake. But what we have is worth fighting for. 3 years, Jamal. Don't throw that away." I unlocked the door and turned to face her one last time. "You threw it away on stage, in front of everyone. And do you know the worst part? It wasn't the dancing or even Devon. It was when you grabbed that mic and humiliated me, showing that my feelings didn't matter compared to your fun. I was drunk. I wasn't thinking." "You were thinking enough to plan it with him beforehand," I said quietly. Her silence said it all. "Goodbye, Shania." I stepped inside and closed the door. Through the wood I could still hear her protests, her voice now angry and echoing. "You'll regret this. You won't find anyone who loves you like I do." Maybe she was right about the second part. I hoped no one else would ever love me the way she did. Over the next few days, Shania tried relentlessly to reach me. She sent flowers to my office, left voicemails alternating between tears and rage, and even had her mother call me. A new low. I remained firm, refusing to respond. Then an unexpected twist occurred. The video of Shania's birthday performance started circulating on local social media. It wasn't viral, but enough people in our circle had seen it. Someone showed it to Tarun, the owner of Boutique Bliss, where Shania worked. Boutique Bliss was an upscale store catering to celebrities and influential clients, and Tarun, a former model, was extremely protective of the store's reputation. I didn't hear about it firsthand. It was Marcus again, whose girlfriend worked at a neighboring shop. According to her, tension between Tarun and Shania was rising as the video spread. The boutique was preparing for its big annual summer launch, a major event with local influencers and clients. Tarun worried about Shania's judgment and the potential fallout from the video. I stayed out of it. This wasn't revenge. It was simply the natural result of her actions. The night of the boutique's event came and went, and of course I wasn't there. But the next morning, social media buzzed with the scandal. Devon, the same DJ, had shown up at the event as a guest of one of the influencers. When Shania saw him, she completely lost control, confronting him loudly about why he had ignored her calls. Devon, clearly uncomfortable, tried to defuse the situation, but Shania wouldn't stop. Security eventually escorted her to a back room. To make matters worse, Devon's date was a well-known fashion blogger, an important contact for the boutique. Humiliated by the scene, the blogger left early and posted vague but clearly negative comments about the unprofessional atmosphere at Boutique Bliss. I didn't orchestrate any of this. I didn't need to. Shania's own actions had created the perfect storm. A week later, Boutique Bliss updated its staff page. Shania's profile was gone. Their Instagram announced an opening for a new manager, and Shania posted she was taking a break from social media to focus on new opportunities. 3 months later, I saw her LinkedIn updated with a new job at a retail chain in Atlanta. She had left town without attempting to contact me again. As for me, I continued designing buildings, spending weekends with family, and healing. Recently, I began talking to a woman named Zara, who works at a coffee shop near my office. We're taking things slow, careful with trust. I still have the gold necklace with the birthstone, though I can't bring myself to sell it or throw it away. Maybe it's a reminder that appearances can be deceiving, that a beautiful gift can hide pain, just as a beautiful relationship can mask betrayal. Sometimes walking away is the only power you have, and sometimes that's enough. 8 months later, people asked for updates. Here it is. Shania is still in Atlanta, claiming she left because of a toxic work environment. Rewriting history has always been her specialty. The boutique recovered from the scandal, though Tarun never reached out to me, and that's fine. Zara and I are officially dating. She knew about the Shania situation from the start. It was hard to avoid, given how it became local gossip, but she never judged me. For those asking if I regret how I handled things. No. I walked away with my dignity intact. I didn't fabricate evidence, try to ruin her life, or even publicly defend myself except through legal channels when she lied about me. The fact that her own actions led to her downfall isn't revenge. It's simply the natural consequence of treating people as disposable props in your life.